This is the final boss of the village map, apparently. You know what? I forgot to copy it over onto the grid template, but I think it actually looks better stretched.
I didn't even notice it was stretched.
I didn't either.
It is a little stretched, but I think it's okay.
For some reason, Saul makes these like square maps. Like he might not have a widescreen monitor.
What is the aspect ratio of the table?
16
by
I'm
9.
gonna guess 16 by 9 because
For what it's worth, the window I play in is square, so that I can have my character sheet on the same monitor.
Listen, it's fine if you have a 15-inch monitor from like 1995. It's fine.
you know,
Judge you.
strong bandwidth proof.
We have so many of those where I work.
It's keeping that old CRT alive.
Not CRT, they're LCDs, but they're like 15 inches and stuff. Like some of them are like almost old enough to vote.
So everybody but me now has like one of those like super widescreen monitors that like has the curvature to it, right?
No.
Yeah, I got one of those.
I don't have one of those.
I went back to two like 27 inches. The problem is DisplayPort sucks, and so my monitor constantly decide they don't want to turn on.
So who's going to be the first to market with like an actual 360-degree monitor that you just like sit in the middle of?
You can already get those.
What? No.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for everything to just be a VR headset.
I don't want to wear the headset that I already wear. I've got noise canceling headphones, and this is too much for me.
I just want VR to be like normal reading glasses. Like, let me
You're
just
talking about AR.
I mean, isn't no.
No, I want a VR form factor that's literally the same size as a standard set of glasses.
All right, there, Blade Runner.
Do you want to do that cool thing where like you don't have a monitor anymore, your shit just like floats in the air and you like control it by waving your hands around like Iron Man?
I don't want to wave my hands. That takes too much energy. Like with the
right? That's always what that's always what I think when I'm watching like the Iron Man stuff. Like nobody's going to want to use that computer.
Right, that's Waggle. That's Waggle with extra steps.
Yes.
The first couple of seasons of Picard have like holographic like control systems that they use for the fictionalized thing for the ship that they're on in that show, and it's like it just seems really funky, but it's like it tracks the person who's sitting in the command chair really well. Like whenever the ship's getting bustled around and stuff.
Why don't they just build the ships with shock absorbers? Like, seems like a no-brainer. Anyway, who has a 100-word summary of all the trouble you guys got into last week?
We decided
we saved the soul of one Chrisen, a fire cultist who wanted to burn us all alive.
And then, Viva la Revolution!
We pissed off the Dark Powers and decided we were gonna go try and kill a witch.
We're not gonna kill Aslan. We just gotta go through Aslan. Right? That's kind of what we decided?
I mean...
That's Ekon's take on it, but that's very specifically Ekon's take on it.
Yeah, Saul seemed to really want to kill Aslan.
Like, we had this discussion, I'm pretty sure Jeannie and Evie have had the discussion of, like, the best revenge we can get is escaping Ravenloft and living well. And Evie's like, what's the second best? Like, she really wants to stab Aslan a few times.
No, you guys are acting like it hasn't been my idea from the beginning to use this mirror.
Like, I feel like the mirror thing is the second best revenge, right? Like, we could literally just go around Aslan to get through him.
Well,
You want to go...
Do you think there's a door in his castle that leads out?
Who knows?
So, let's resolve some nonsense.
Nonsense.
I have a loose rule, not really a rule, a guideline, that I don't like to read D&D shit during the week from my players. And so, McDohl sent me a long D&D shit to read. It's 3 paragraphs. It's not...
it's not a solid
offender we've ever
had.
So you want to go through with this, McDohl?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. He does, in the second paragraph here, he does remind me that the contract states F me up. So.
F me up, fam.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like this, am I?
This doesn't concern you. So
I
you
guess
can
you're
just.
right.
This is a totally other player getting something right now. All right, McDohl.
Sir.
How many levels of monk do you have? Or let me ask you this: what is your total class level right now? It's like 14 or something. Is that correct?
14. Correct.
How much experience did you need to reach level 14?
How much did I need?
It's like 140,000. Am I looking at that right?
140,000, yes.
How much do you have?
14,3, 32,59.
Okay. Erase all of that down to 140,000.
Sure.
You have to make a decision right now, and I'm only going to give you about 10 seconds to make it, or I'm going to let Saul make it.
Okay.
Option 1.
Right.
At 140,000 experience, give yourself 1 class level in Warlock. Path of the Fiend. Option 2. Erase 3 levels of Monk. Take 3 levels of Warlock, Path of the Fiend, and choose a Warlock subclass. I'm starting to count to 10 right now.
1 level.
Okay. As Edmont calls in the favor of Mephistopheles,
Oh God.
which was always going to do this. There is no way Mephistopheles just gives you a favor. Come on. So.
Yeah.
In addition, the current limiting factor on how often you can transform into your werewolf form is it requires a Dark Powers check.
It takes a long rest. It's once per long rest.
Recharges on long rest. We're going to replace both of those.
Okay.
No longer requires a Dark Powers check.
All right.
And the limiting factor is every time you change back, you must pass a Constitution saving throw, DC 15, or take a level of exhaustion.
Okay. So it was hang on, let me just make a note of that. And delete this powers check.
Damn it, McDohl.
So, McDohl has decided to beseech Mephistopheles to turn him fully into one of the Keltostrabi. Do you want to let them in on the second half of your master plan, or is that just going to be a fun surprise for later?
I thought that'd be a fun surprise for later.
Okay.
Damn it, McDohl. Like, you can't go, like...
He is evil.
You know what? You can never, ever, ever, ever yell at me again. Ever.
He doesn't. How often does he yell at you?
I've been under the impression that we were going to do things like this at the table. This is like a whole new game now.
It's fine.
I mean, look, Brick has literally been trying to get someone to do this since the second session of Flumph 1, so.
That's right. We're
Yeah.
allowed to.
Surprise, you just haven't been paying attention.
This is
We're
the
allowed to
second.
talk to Brick Road behind everyone else's back.
Only McDohl is apparently because it's really.
If I knew I could do that, this would have been a very different campaign.
Wait, it was McDohl in the first campaign, too.
It was Nick in the second campaign.
It was McDohl in the first campaign when he died, right?
No, that was all above board.
Right, but no, but it was still trying to get you to take that Warlock level.
He gouged
Again,
his eyes out at one point and gave himself magic eyes. That was kind of fun. But yeah, Nick, in the second campaign, Nick went and did some crazy shit and ended up with a level of cleric he didn't want.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I'm okay with losing
and then
class feature.
Flumph, you lost your radiant damage when you switch, and then your oath.
Yeah.
He made you switch oaths.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a tradition for Brick Ridge to just do something that completely jacks up my character sheet anyway.
You just decide, like, In the
didn't
11th
do
hour,
this.
McDohl just decides he doesn't want to play the character he's been playing.
No, I feel like this is where Edmont's been going for a while now.
Like, I
So
really miss Lucius.
so that's how he squandered your potential ally in Mephistopheles, who, by the way, is an extremely evil devil and was never going to just give you a favor in the first place. And if you thought otherwise, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you. Okay, so that was fun. That was fun for me.
Like, do we have like the concept of demons, fiends, and devils? Since you said hell, like we don't have a concept of hell. Like, what is our understanding?
So from
of...
your homeworld, like that would all fall under the purview of being unseelie.
right?
So devils and demons, I mean, in a cosmological sense, they're very, very different creatures. But in your homeworld, a demon versus a devil showing up in the streets would kind of be the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. Could have done all this off camera, but now I'm at the.
But then I wouldn't have been able to do that fun reveal and have Saul have a heart attack.
Fair enough. I won't begrudge you that.
Well, I assume this ends with me dying.
What?
I'm losing a key point.
Excuse me.
So you're going to remain at your total class levels being 14. You're not gaining a level that everybody
Yeah.
else doesn't. Okay, just so we're clear on that.
Yeah. And this is gonna well, like, I don't have the multi-classing spell casting nonsense, do I?
Oh man, you've got the two worst classes to multi-class
Oh
into.
no!
Yeah. I do want to reiterate, in the contract, you reminded me that it says, F me up, fan.
F me up,
Like
fam.
that's a bunch of stuff. Like the thing is, he is now the ultimate short rest character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monk, warlock, noble. Everything comes back on a short rest. Get multiple scrolls of catnip.
And he can
Catnap.
werewolf out pretty much all the
Yep.
time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we have a list of like 40 other things here. How much time are we allotting for all of these various plots and things to kind of take their hold? Because some of these things, like you have Vistani destabilization going on. You have Van Richten and Darkwood out doing like field research for you.
I feel like we can't, like, this is not something I feel like once we get the ball rolling, we have a very narrow window of opportunity. Like, we have a sweet spot where we got to let stuff cook, but if we let it go too long, we're going to get squished.
Okay, so I'm going to start checking things off of this list. First thing is Edmont. We've done Edmont.
So I would like a month of downtime. I don't know if anybody thinks we need more or less time.
Let's work this list first, and then we can go through a month of downtime actions if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just, you were asking how much time we wanted to let things cook, so that's
I would say like 1 month would be the low end estimate. Just being reasonable. You would need a couple of weeks for a lot of this stuff to pan out anyway.
Okay.
Recalling Platten
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
does not happen. Every time you speak to him using sendings or whatever other means you tap into him, he's always fighting the same war. And he's been caught up in it for so long now that his conversations with Platten remind you of conversations with Lugrin.
He's been taken by the mist. There doesn't seem to be any way for us to save him at this point.
Not unless you know how to physically get to him and then win his war for him, which probably doesn't seem possible.
That's rough.
This is a realization that you will have over however... I mean, it's been... Every conversation with him for several years has been basically the same thing. He's caught up in this zombie apocalypse, and he's lost track of even how long he's been fighting it at this point.
What if we use the spell to go into his dream and he would see how much we have aged?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna stop
I mean,
him.
that's not, I mean, I don't think it's for lack of awareness. I think this is just the kind of guy Paladin is. He's not going to give up on something he's in the middle of.
Always faithful and strong enough.
Point of order, how long have we been here?
Shy of 3 years.
3 years.
Something
and
like
some
that.
Okay,
change?
so I'm 2 years older than it says on my character sheet, so I'm 20.
You can almost drink.
I thought
Yep.
you were 15 when we started.
Yep. Or I was 16 when we started.
So yeah, you're almost 20. Yeah.
Yeah, Victor's old now.
My birthday was very soon when we started. It was like the first long downtime was my
Victor's
birthday.
only 25. That's not old.
In JRPG terms, he is a retired veteran.
Mm.
He's had 3 careers. And
Edmont is 22.
I do
21,
love.
22 is like the high end of like that's when you're at your apex as a JRPG hero.
Like you're like Edmont's getting like he's 2 weeks from retirement, which means we got to watch out for like that.
But once you're
Big
30, you
smoke
can
for
come
this-
back as like the old man.
Right? Yeah.
Like Sid Garland, as he's portrayed in Final Fantasy XIV, is like 32 or something like that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of the ultimate expression of that one.
He looks like he's like 72 years old.
I know, right?
Just looks.
He doesn't have a beard in the original Final Fantasy XIV, but
I think it's the beard.
To what
He's got the
degree?
Riker thing where he grew the beard in order for people to take him seriously.
yeah.
To what degree are you bringing Tenny in on your various machinations? Because you've given her a task, but the question is, like, how much does she know?
I feel like Victor would probably tell her everything.
You're not involved. I specifically
That's
said
not
that
true.
Victor is not going to be talking to Tenny about this stuff.
Victor can talk to Tenny about whatever he wants to.
Like it's a conversation. Like, I think the first conversation would be to ask her like how much she wants to know.
So Evie has asked Tenny to tap into this Raven network where you guys had failed to make an alliance previously. So the degree to which that's going to work is going to be contingent on how much she actually knows and how high the stakes are.
So, like, Jeannie's opinion on it is Tenny has expressed, like, desire to be treated as an adult. She was 10 years old, so she's 13, pushing 14 now?
Well, not only that, but didn't Jeannie basically promise Tinny that she wouldn't hide stuff from her anymore?
I wouldn't what her anymore?
Didn't Jeannie promise Tinny that she wouldn't keep stuff from her anymore?
That's what I'm getting at is I don't remember that exact promise, but like
Evie did that.
I think like she has at least earned a place at the table, so yeah, like
The thing is, it's not that I don't trust Tenny. We don't know enough about the Raven people, so I guess we need to.
Penny's a smart girl, like she can
I'll
make
ask
that
her what
decision.
I'll ask her what does she think about the Raven people.
Like
Well, that's fine, but before I can answer that, I need to know, what does Tenny know? How does she actually have a seat at your actual table when you guys are discussing all this stuff?
I think so. This involves her too. It's
Okay.
not like
because like she's currently not too much younger than when Edmont was, like a year or two. That does make a big difference. But this is Ravenloft. Ravenloft sucks, and she's been here the entire time.
Well, not just that, but like Victor has been trying to develop a relationship of openness with Tinny. So if Jeannie or Evie don't tell her everything, Victor will.
Okay. So one way or another, though, she knows what you guys are planning, how many resources you're bringing to bear, who else you're calling in on it. It would be difficult to hide from her. It would be difficult to hide Zachwheel for any amount of time in your village.
Right.
Like, he's going to sneak out and go to the pub. What are you going to do about it?
I mean, Tinny has basically gotten to the point where if we don't tell her stuff, she's going to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another. She's competent enough to just figure stuff out on her own.
and and she's in on this with us. Like that's just how it rolled out.
She'll be like, "The rabbit saw you talking to that guy. What are you doing?"
Okay.
So if she betrays us, it will be a betrayal most foul.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But would it be surprising?
It could go either way.
To what end, then, you all as a house, how is your campaign against Aslan Rex going to benefit anybody else in Darkon?
Aslan sucks. He's tormenting his people.
So
Well-
is part of that Victor would use his network to try and figure out how Aslan is making everybody's life better or worse, and then use the worst parts to sort of leverage that if you help us, your life will get better.
Well, right now the official plan is not to kill Aslan. The official
Right,
plan
we're-
is to try to trap him in this mirror.
So here, yeah, like, here's the thing: is like, Aslan's current modus operandi is to come in, install rulers, and then destroy the offending area when, like, they don't meet whatever impossible expectations he has.
Sounds
Like, he
about right.
destroy. So, like if they want to continue existing in the location that they're in, that's. I mean, I can't think of a more beneficial thing than existing.
Okay. So the argument is we're going to trap Aslan in this magic mirror, and then your lives are going to improve because Aslan won't be meddling in them anymore.
I think
Right,
we
yeah.
out that it's literally a magic mirror. I don't want to let that little piece of information out.
I think
Okay.
we frame it as we're going to remove him from power.
Then let's step back. Then, like, how do you plan to remove him from power?
We have a plan that we don't want to talk about.
Okay.
Like, it's.
So you want assistance from this Were-Raven network, but you don't want to share with them any information or tell them what you're doing.
Not until I know that what they are gonna. Like,
So-
I haven't met them or talked to them.
Nope.
They-
I'm not going to give them all. I'm not going to give all my information away up front, and then they decide whether or not they're going to help us or go betray us to Aslan.
They know what we've done so far. They've seen how we've removed other groups from power. We don't feel that it's secure to give the details for their safety as well as our own.
So for Tenny's part, she at least is convinced that there is no chance that the Ravens will betray you to Aslan. They don't work for Aslan. They oppose Aslan in basically all their forms, but they're also not going to make reckless moves. So if they're going to assist you in any way, they have to know it's going to be worth their while and it's actually going to improve lives across
If,
Darkon.
so, Jeannie would trust, like, the conversation that would be that whether or not Evie says no, and if Evie says no, then Jeannie would tell her anyway. Like, to go
So-
ahead, give the information.
So Ekon would offer that once they have left, that after this there will be a power vacuum. The Ravens will feel free to fill however they like, and if that doesn't improve lives, that sort of seems like at that point it's on them.
So they want to know that if the I get what they're saying. They want to know if this plan has any merit, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
like, the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we trust Tenny?
I
And
think I do.
and
in some ways, I trust
I
her more
trust
than
him.
anyone else.
right, because like to be fair, I don't know if Brick Road has done like Tenny has been a petulant child the entire campaign because Brick Road is a petulant man-child.
She was 10, and you guys brought her to hell. Like,
No, you brought her to hell.
I don't see how you could put that on me at all.
We were in a boat going to a shore.
I
Anyway.
described that lake as being...
I understand this. There was an agreement.
But like Tinny has continuously showcased herself to be very quietly competent.
Yes, I agree. I kind of think I am willing to put this on Tenny. I'm willing to say that I trust her on this.
Okay. So you're going to
So-
tell her to tell these ravens we have a magic mirror plan.
Like, yes, we have a device
A
that
magical sealing device.
Okay.
we have a device that could seal him away.
Potentially for a long time. We know killing him won't work. That's why we're doing this other plan.
Are you planning to step into the power vacuum left behind when you remove him?
Hell to the no.
Literally what I just said was that once he's gone, that you can step into the power vacuum, and if the place doesn't become better, that seems like it's on you at that point.
Is
Our
that the
plan-
official line for the rest of you as well? Like, Like the Ravens should step in to power at this
Evie's,
point?
yeah, that's,
We don't care who steps in.
Evie actually thinks that's a great idea. I would rather it be the Ravens who seem, they seem like they've been like Robin Hood. They're like do-gooders who do good throughout this kingdom that is ruled by an evil king.
Mhm.
I'm okay with them having.
We've had no interaction with them.
Well, that's kind of the sense I've gotten from them. But Evie's line there is that the house's plan is to leave these lands behind and return to our home world where we feel we are needed.
Okay. So before Tenny brings that message back, she informs you that this group is not interested in leadership. It's not how they operate. And they operate elsewhere outside of Darkhan as well.
Yeah.
Taking a leadership role that Azalin currently fills would jeopardize some of their tasks in other lands.
Okay.
Victor's point is they can do whatever they want.
So is there do I get the sense that that message is saying then
What she's saying is, I'll tell them that if that's what you want me to say, but I already know that they're going to shut that down.
Okay, let's not go that direction then. Let's say that they can help select new leaders of this land.
Like-
maybe. Something like that.
That's them taking a leadership role anyway. That's
That's
Yeah,
leadership
it's-
with delegation.
yeah.
No, it's they.
Like,
they're
is
free to
there
do whatever they want?
is there requirements to be that we like have somebody to step into the power vacuum?
Tenny doesn't know the answer to that.
Okay, like because we don't intend to step into the power vacuum. And I don't we can't expect them to do it. It's just
Okay.
They're free to do what they want. If they want to step in, they can. If they want to have no involvement, they don't need to have any involvement.
Maybe
It's up to them.
Darkwood will want to do it.
No, Darkwood. Me and Darkwood. are getting
Darkwood's
along.
already very much of the opinion to get the fuck out of here.
I get the
Yeah.
opinion Darkwood has an axe to grind with a specific former Flumph
Yeah.
player, and he's going back to like shit in his Cheerios.
It was worth a try.
Oh, so fun. Okay. So the official stance is like we're going to remove Azalin. After that, we're going to be gone. It's going to be someone else's problem. But whoever fills the chair after he's gone cannot be worse than Azalin. Is that kind of where we're landing?
Yeah.
And yeah, but we could throw in we're open to suggestions.
Okay.
That's what we're that's why why we're reaching out. It's like
Okay, I
this
have
is-
to say this. I don't think Keelian is a Cheerios guy. I think he's a Lucky Charms without the cereal bits, just the marshmallows guy.
All right.
that paints such a vivid picture that I do not understand why it does.
I can't. I like it. It was in my head. I had to get it out.
Had to come out. No, I understand. Here's the extent of what the Ravens can offer you.
Mhm.
Because it sounds like you're going to need to carry some amount of cargo to Azalin's domain when you go.
Mhm.
They have a mechanism by which they can hide your movement across Darkhan on a one-way trip to Castle Avernus.
That sounds amazing.
I think that's exactly what we need.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Eugenia, can you build siege engines?
Yes.
I think we should have some.
The
siege engines.
question with that is that's a question for Bricker when we get to downtime. I told you I was going to find out exactly how far I could push my luck.
Have we decided on what Zaquil's role is going to be?
So I cannot. I looked at all the spells, right, for the 8th level. He can already cast. We don't know what 7th level spells he can cast, but I didn't really. I kind of perused those and nothing there really caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
For 7th level, I don't see any 8th level spells that are.
I don't think he can cast 8th level. I think he's only...
Yeah.
No, he's got the wish, is what we're talking about.
Okay,
This is what I'm getting at. I can't think. I didn't see anything that we could replicate with wish that would be, worth giving up a 7th level spellcaster.
There's
But
two things I can think to do with it.
Okay.
One is that we resurrect Giannis. The other is that we return you to your original body.
I don't feel like Zaquiel would permanently stunt his spellcasting ability, because that's what you said the price
limiting
was, right?
factor there is you're going to have to convince him that one of those things is going to help with this plan against Azalin.
Right.
And that's
I
going to be a
do-
tall order.
yeah,
I would
that
really
is-
like to see the wish where you try and get back in your body to see what Rick does with it.
Well, we could replicate the 9th level True Polymorph spell.
Wish can only replicate 8th and lower.
Oh.
Cannot replicate.
If you try to use it to replicate another 9th level spell, you're into reality bending territory.
Okay.
The other like, if we're talking about the wish, there is like some of the secondary effects that Brickroad said he won't mess with, the stuff that's like explicitly listed. Seems like they could be more useful than replicating an 8th level or lower spell. Like,
Okay, so maybe we keep the wish for like our trump card.
So, like, for example, like, you allow up to 20 creatures that you see to regain all hit points, and you end all effects on them. You grant up to 10 creatures a resistance to a damage type you choose. And, you know, like, meh. You grant up to 10 creatures you can see immunity to a single spell or other magical effect for 8 hours. The problem with that is I don't know what Aslan can do. Like
Assume any spell in the book he can do.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. He can't. Because remember, we learned he can't learn spells.
He can't learn new spells.
Right. He can't learn new spells. So, you know, but I expect him to be able. I mean, he's a lich, so he's going to have like a life drain attack. They specifically mentioned that. Like in the spell, like immune to a lich's life drain attack. But I don't know anything about that. Like I don't know like what kind of attack it is. So we could make ourselves immune to something like we know he can do. Maybe that's that like you have more lore. Maybe you could did you cash in all of your lore?
No, I have a few left.
Maybe you could ask if there's any lore about his preferred fighting method. Like what common things does he like to do when he engages in battle?
Yeah, I'll do that. If there's any, I'll cash in a lore here if Brickwood will allow it.
There should be plenty of that because, you know, there was a war going on.
Yeah, if Aslan actually is in a situation where he directly fights someone, what is his preferred method?
Okay. Bear with me just one moment.
My thinking is the two best options we can get for a wish if we decide to go that route are gaining. I guess it's permanent. It just says you grant up to 10 creatures. There's no time limit. Resistance of a damage type, or you grant up to 10 creatures immunity to a single or spell effect for 8 hours. So.
All right. So you're cashing in a piece of lore to know if Aslan has to fight, how does he like to do it?
Mm-hmm.
What your lore gains you is he doesn't. It has never come up. In however many years he's been in charge of Darkon, every resource that you've ever been able to look into, there is no record of it ever happening. The closest you come is finding an account of him having spent time in Barovia under the care of Count Strahd. And in that time, the two of them, though they were bitter enemies, never came to blows in the way you're suggesting. Aslan does not fight. He doesn't have to.
Okay.
In a general sense, in terms of what can the ancient dead do, yeah, I would think it's reasonable that in that kind of research, caching in that piece of lore, you could learn that they have like a paralyzing touch, a frightening gaze, they drain life energy from you by looking at you, and unbelievably powerful spellcasting.
All right. I have an idea, but
Mhm.
I'll hold on to it for just a minute because I very suddenly have to go use the bathroom. So, uh,
Sorry, I
Yeah.
answered that question, and Treble immediately has to void his bowels.
no, well, my bladder, but yeah.
Do you want to cash in more lore to learn something else, Saul?
Let's see.
Why don't you cash one in to find out how other people have heard Aslan in the past?
I don't think that's happened.
I mean, there's accounts of wars with Strahd and things.
Yeah, but those seem to have been locked in a stalemate for thousands of years.
Correct.
I'm thinking about what I want. I'm starting to get down to. I only have 4 left, so I want to make sure that.
I would ask that when Aslan's forces take the field, like who
Once
leads
he
them?
deploy.
Yeah. Like
Well,
if he hasn't gotten into a fight, like who's been doing the fighting for him?
Does he have a
yeah,
general?
it's
Does he have a
good
commander taking the field?
Well, he commands Legions of Dead, who I assume are probably directed by him, and it's been noted that his strategic acumen is not on the level of Strahd. So he's the more powerful wizard of the two, but the less effective military leader.
Correct.
I'm not sure that gets us much.
Okay, so, like, back to the wish. Would this be more? This would probably be more in the reality bending thing. But one of the biggest obstacle I see to the plan of the mirrors is getting the mirrors in place and then getting Aslan to step in between them.
I have an idea for that.
Well, my idea for it is him casting the wish spell. Is that still just an action, or does it require special? Like, is it a ritual? What?
He would be functionally casting it as though from a spell scroll.
Okay, so still an action. Got you.
The only difference is typically when you cast a spell that is higher level than you are able to learn yet, you have to make a check to successfully cast it. He has that incredibly powerful book, so he's going to forego that check. The trade-off here being he won't have access to most of his magic after he does it.
Like forever, or just like for a long?
That's an excellent question, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give half a shit what happens with this NPC. So
Yeah. Okay. Right. What if we use our wish to get the mirrors in place?
Treble, when I really like an NPC, I don't send the entire party up his butt.
I don't know about that.
No, but I mean that wish placing those mirrors in position would actually be that's
I am extraordinarily hesitant to hinge our entire plan on Brick Road not fucking us on a wish.
So, like,
That is an F minus idea. That is putting a lot of faith in our DM.
Where's your faith, Saul?
I have the utmost faith in Brick Road, whether it's positive or negative faith. That's like Brick Road would be a deity on the negative energy plane. Is what I'm saying. But anyway,
There are no deities on the negative energy plane.
No, you are literally saying that we hinge Brick Road not screwing us on a wish as our entire plan. And that if it doesn't work, we're just all dead.
So again, we are literally attacking the immortal Wizard King in his own backyard, and you're worried that we're taking too much of a risk.
Now, I'm saying we're taking an unnecessary risk in this place.
What is your plan for getting? Before we continue to this argument, like, is your plan a secret for getting the mirror in place that we don't actually even have yet?
No, I have the plan, but you guys are going to yell at me when I say
What
it.
is the plan?
Okay. So, Darkwood is absolutely going to fuck us during this plan, and he is going to go use the machine. And when he goes to use the machine, Aslan is going to go, oh shit. So that is when I think Aslan would be at his most vulnerable. I think we want to use the mirror on him in that situation when he's going to try to protect the machine, and he's going to be very distracted.
This is assuming that Aslan is even going to be there when we do arrive, and he's going to be there when Darkwood does try to use the machine.
I think he would show up to defend the machine if he thought it was in danger.
So here's the thing: is these mirrors are large, right? They're not small.
Yes.
They're like full standing mirrors.
They
right?
are standing mirrors, yes.
So we have 2 full standing mirrors that we would have to carry in with us, protect, and then set up and activate. While Aslan is actively messing with us. Like, in putting them in the bag of holding is not a good solution to protect them, because that would take 2 actions to pull them out.
What is the backup plan for when the mirrors don't work?
We die.
We need a plan B.
Like, one way or another, we are getting... This is over, I think.
We need a plan B, because the mirrors, in theory, are a great idea. In reality, I'm not so sure.
Why? Why are you not so sure?
The mirrors depend entirely on Brick Road allowing Aslan to be in a position where they can trap him.
I mean, any plan requires Brick Road allowing it to happen.
So, like,
I don't,
again,
I don't
like,
know what to tell you here, buddy.
like, yeah, it's like I'm not worried about Brick Road's like willingness to let us do things like metatextually, because like,
Wow, this
Yeah,
campaign
no-
really did a number on you guys, didn't it?
No, I have perfect faith that if we actually put Aslan into a situation where we could trap him in this mirror, he would allow that. The question is, how hard would it be to engineer that situation? And
That's exactly my point.
yeah, exactly, which is why, like, is there an 8th level spell anyone can think of, or lower? Is there any spell anyone can think of that would allow us to very quickly put them in place, the mirrors in place? Like,
Isn't there
I
a
have an
magical
idea.
item? Isn't there a magical item that lets you like store one item?
Love of storing.
a what of storing?
Love of storing. You snap your finger and the item appears in it.
Oh yeah.
I have an idea
okay,
for magic.
Okay.
It's not a good idea.
well, I'm listening.
We're all about the bad ideas today.
If you care about action economy, cast an up-leveled reduce on it, and then you can make it big by just dropping concentration. Which is not an action. Or a reaction. It just happens.
Hold on. No. One action, creature or object. You can't really upcast it,
Oh, okay.
but we have the capability to spread around concentration.
Oh yeah, we can have an unhealthy number of
And large reduces. We could have
Large
an
reduces,
irresponsible
yeah.
because it's a 2nd level spell.
yeah.
So, if you use reduce on a mirror of that size, because you can reduce its weight down to 1/8, but its size by half. So you're still talking about an object kind of the size of a large shield. It's no longer like a floor-to-ceiling, 6-foot-tall standing mirror anymore, but 3-foot-tall mirror is still a lot of bulk.
It is a lot of bulk. And it's still a lot to protect. Because by all accounts, those are like, they're not like magically reinforced. They're just mirrors, right? If I were to walk in and like hit one of these, hit the mirror in there, even on the parts that like haven't lost their magic or whatever, if I were to hit it with a hammer, it would just shatter.
It's a good question. Do you go try it?
No. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Feeble Mind would be fun to watch Aslan fail a save against.
He wouldn't. I guarantee you he has like 5 legendary resistances.
Well, if we burn through all of that, then if we burn through all of that with stuff like stunning strikes and whatnot,
I'm pretty sure he's immune to that. What I do think would work is silence, because you can't resist that. So I think silence is potentially the strongest thing you could do. I mean, if we end up rolling initiative against Aslan, we probably have about 3 seconds to live. But if you have to go down fighting against him, silence is the way to go.
Well, Feeble Mind puts them out of commission for 30 days if it works.
Yeah, basically anything is if it works. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay. So, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking with the wish. Like either
It's just
we get
wish
like
the mirrors into place like around Aslan at this moment.
well, yeah, like
So-
we get the NPC, we get Zaquil in place, and then we engage. Like when whatever happens, like when a distraction happens, whether it
okay,
is
hold
what
on,
Saul
hold on.
is proposing or just us fighting him.
So we keep talking about like what we're gonna do to Aslan, what we're gonna do to Aslan. Why exactly do we need to face Aslan inside of his castle? And
You wanna
what
live
if
somewhere else?
What if we just go into his castle when Aslan's not there?
I think he's always there.
Because I think he is also always there because even when he goes to other places, he's still in his castle,
Mhm.
as we found out. Remember?
Yeah, Tenny found that out for us.
I don't think there's ever going to be a situation where Aslan isn't 6 seconds away from being in his castle.
So, and if you don't believe that he doesn't have alarms and all this other stuff and ways to know he's got intruders, let me tell you, bud, I have that in the house, and I'm not a wizard king.
The Ravens claim they
alright.
can get you to Castle Avernus without being detected. But
Right.
inside, that's up to you.
Yeah.
No,
So-
there's absolutely horror.
Okay, so in terms of Zachiel's magic, the first thing you should probably do if he has it is create a simulacron.
So, like when he dies,
No, that's a different one. It's just
I mean, keep
It's just
going.
a
Where are you going
second
with this?
we just get a second Zachiel. Slightly crappier one. And then I'm looking to see if there's anything we can do here to get the mirror out with spell casting at that level.
Yeah, coming up with a good way to quickly deploy the mirror is a good idea. I think going straight to wish, that's both overkill and risky.
I think
Oh,
complain.
Darjim's instant summons.
What is it?
Darjim's instant summons. Just does it.
You could just have an item suddenly appear in your hand.
Again, this is a 6-foot tall mirror. All of us have strength of like 2.
Needs to weigh 10 pounds or less for that spell. Whose
Can
whose longest dimension is 6 feet or less.
Can we make the mirror out of transparent adamant?
I would say if
Or
you
transparent mithril?
if you reduce it first using the reduce spell, it would probably weigh less than 10 pounds.
That would I don't know, man. That would be we'd have to go the entire dungeon holding our. We'd have to go through the
Concentration.
entire dungeon for an hour and holding our concentration the entire time.
We could put
shut
it
this
inside
off.
an Ozaluk's resilient sphere. Makes it easy to move, at least. Just tie it to the werewolf.
Our werewolf of burden.
Mephistopheles has turned you into a pack mule.
Wait,
Yay.
wait. Isn't this just a job for fucking Tensor's floating disc?
Yeah.
The most remedial first level spell in the game?
Is it going to be the hero of the day? The hero we needed, but not the one we deserved.
Oh, so here's the thing. Like, if we just moving them around, we can use the bag of holding. The problem with that is if stuff goes down very quickly, which I expect it to. Like, if we have like 5 minutes to set up before we do whatever shenanigans we're gonna do, that's one thing, right? But if I'm
In my
going under
scenario,
the
we would.
I'm going under the assumption that we ain't.
That's fair. Like, my ideal scenario is that Darkwood's about to use the machine, and that lures Aslan there, where we are waiting.
So, yeah.
So are we done discussing Zachiel now? You don't want him to use a wish. You want him to use other spells to help you transport these mirrors into place.
So is it one or the other?
It's one
Is
or
he
the
re-
other.
Okay, all right. So I honestly think the wish is the way to go. Like, if nothing else, it's a Hail Mary. Like, if we have him do anything else, we lose a Hail Mary. And it almost always comes down to the frickin' Hail Mary. But I don't know what...
I mean, I think a 7th level spellcaster just has a ton of utility,
Okay.
personally. I mean, but that means, do we want to have him use the wish so we don't have to manage an extra character at that level of complexity as people,
That's
players?
also.
Well, do we manage that, or does Brick Road manage it?
I mean, what basically, if you decide you want Zaquiel along for the assault, is you're basically going to have access to his spell slots. So you're going to have to decide what spells you want and when, and ensure that he has the resources he needs to cast them.
I mean, that's not too bad. I could do that.
But he's not going to, if you roll initiative, he's not going to get into the mix with you guys with it.
Yeah, he's just a pile of spells.
He's a
But
pile.
that's fine
Exactly.
as long as we're. It also spares us having to protect him, I assume. He's just going to be off screen.
Oh no, he'll have hit points, and I will try to kill him.
Right. So yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take Zaquiel in and plan on using his spell slots then.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay.
7th level wizard is something that we do not have. We have lacked that utility this whole campaign, and it has caused some problems.
So the way that's going to work is the wizard spell progression in the player's handbook will tell you how many of each level spell he'll have prepared, and we can just I'm prepared to just let you prepare whatever wizard spells you think you'll need within the confines of the books that we have.
How many?
Yeah. What's his intelligence? 20?
Yeah, we'll say it's 20. That sounds reasonable.
I can do that.
All right. So let's take Zaquiel off the list.
How do you spell Zachiel?
I mean, you're just going to have to spell it however your little heart desires, my friend.
I haven't been spelling it Zach, Zachiel.
I spell it with a Q because I'm extra.
When in doubt, always spell with a Q. Q, but no U. Then you're like in orc territory. Okay, there are reports when it comes to Vistani destabilization. Predominantly of peasant rebellions in and around the lands closest to Castle Avernus. These would be lands that Aslan, in theory at least, is administrating himself. So some of his resources are tied up in that sort of thing, close to the castle. This is a double-edged sword. On one hand, this means that some of his resources, at least, are going to be spent quashing these rebellions, putting down these rumors, reappointing people that have been assassinated, doing the kind of administrative drudgery that he normally would not like to waste his time on. The flip side of that coin is you're not going to be able to rely on much help from the peasantry close to Castle Avernus. Things are going to be in a state of disarray there. You all have Victor to thank for that.
I think by the time we're ready to roll on that, I think we're beyond the help any peasants could provide.
I don't know, man. A lot of lives have been saved by a peasant hiding someone in a barn for 48 hours. Okay, so 2 more pieces of advice. Towards the end of the 1 month, you receive a letter, word from Van Richten. You hired him to find the location of this bound angel, this celestial of air who had been trapped here. He thinks he's found the location, and what this means, Ekon, because you've been spending this time developing the spell to summon the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
That's a one-time thing. You can either use that spell to summon the Phoenix, or you can use it to summon Beldross.
Okay.